talking about mobile as a new platform for travel distribution, for travel sales, for travel marketing. I wanted to just begin by just reviewing some statistics that most of you are probably aware of at this point. The fact that we have over 4 billion mobile phones out in the world, with about another billion subscribers coming in the next few years. That from a penetration viewpoint, there are actually more mobile phones than there are automobiles. And in addition, the fact that it took about 100 years for the landline phones to be laid across the world, and for 80% of the world, we're now into an environment where it's only taken 16 years for mobile. And I would attest to this, my teenager does not wear a watch, just has his mobile phone. So what does this mean, though, for the travel industry? Well, the big message here is you need not to think about the mobile device as only a customer touch point. It's much more than that. It's a platform. So when I'm talking about a platform, I'm talking about the ability to do new and innovative applications that never existed before. That's what a platform is about. And so if you are looking at doing something on the mobile platform, I'm afraid to say that we're in a fragmented world. You have to do different iterations for different devices, and you have different capabilities on different devices. But the good news is that the correlation between the frequent traveler, particularly the frequent business traveler, but even the frequent leisure traveler, and the adoption of new mobile devices is so strong that you'll see as we talk a little bit more that there is actually a direct correlation between those two groups. They even spend more money on their trips. So the target market that you're looking to capture is already owning one of these smartphone devices. Now, if you can imagine the way things were with there we go. This is the original mobile phone from Motorola. Imagine carrying that one around, right? Trying to stick that in your pocket. This is the original RIM BlackBerry. It was just a pager, basically. You compare that to an iPhone, which is essentially a computer in your hand. And it's even more than a computer. It's really a sensor device. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a few moments. So the two things that are driving the real opportunity for mobile is the smartphone adoption and the 3G adoption. And so as things progress, we see that really hitting a tipping point very, very shortly. Of course, we've had a migration from originally 1G networks, 2.5 to 3G, and now in 2010 we see two technologies, LTE from the mobile operators and WiMAX from more the computer manufacturers, giving us 4G, which is truly broadband on your mobile device. So as we see more and more broadband, there's more and more opportunity to interact with that traveler while they're traveling and really improving services. Often I have comments when I show this slide about roaming charges and the reality of how costly it can be to travel with a mobile device. I personally have had that happen to me traveling to the Middle East and turning on my iPhone and receiving a bill for about 10 days of $1,000. So I know it can be expensive, but those rates are coming down, the broadband is coming, the adoption of the smartphones are there. This slide actually is from consumer research we did in the US recently, and it shows that the average traveler who answered, "I am usually one of the first people to upgrade to the latest mobile technology," spends more money on travel. It just proves that point about the correlation between the frequent traveler and that new smartphone and that new adoption. But we're not really talking about a phone. We're talking about a converged device. The device has lots of functions, and some of them have become so standard we don't even think about it. I was in San Francisco with my family a few weeks ago, and my wife, who was a pretty avid photographer, didn't have her camera, she just had her BlackBerry. And she was taking pictures. The idea that we have a digital camera with fairly good quality in our phone has become standard. The fact that it has PDA functionality, personal data assistant functionality, fact that it has a music player has become obvious. Of course, it's a phone. But some of the things which are emerging, I wouldn't like to be necessarily a stockholder of any of the PNDs, the personal navigation devices such as Garmin or TomTom, because they're becoming obsolete pretty fast. In fact, the Google Android platform comes with a turn-by-turn direction embedded in it. The idea of using your phone to pay for different services is very relevant, certainly in the travel industry, certainly in places like the hotel sector, but already it's being used for public transportation throughout many countries in the world. Electronic entry. Recently there's been an introduction of using electronic entry to get into hotel rooms with your mobile phone, as well as even some experiments with rent-a-cars.